Clutch 40 here. I'm just here to let you know that I have finished watching all 9 of season 1 of The Last of Us episodes. So as you know, a couple of days ago, the first season of the TV show The Last of Us came to a close. Basically, every single episode was retelling the progression of the original game story. So I didn't really go and want to review these episodes one by one as they came out. I'd rather just waited until this first season was over before I gave all my thoughts and opinions about it. So overall, this review will have a lot of spoilers in it. So if you haven't seen the show or haven't played the game and want to play or experience both of those, I would suggest just maybe playing the game first, watching the show first, and coming back to hear what I say, because I have a lot to say about it. So overall, I will get right into it. So I did say in my first impressions video, which came out just over 2.5 months ago, when the first episode aired, that I was a really big fan of the first episode of the show. It kind of took the already amazing intro of the game and made it even better. They gave Sarah a bit more backstory, a bit more context of what the world was like before the cordyceps infection hit. And this time in the show, they set the outbreak in 2003 instead of 2013. So the 20 years later feels more relevant to 2023, which is the present time of me recording this video and when the first season came out. So I was very impressed with how they directed this episode. The special effects are really good. I love the part where the plane fell out of the sky. Pedro Pascal as Joel Miller was an incredibly good choice for him. I can now not really see him being played by anyone else. Definitely a far better choice than Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg being as Nate and Sully in the Uncharted movie. But I've already told you what I feel about that movie, so I won't bring it up again here. But overall, I thought the entire series was a very faithful adaptation to the original game, which is 10 years old now. And it also had a few original things to say. The third episode was about Bill, the backstory of Bill and his romantic relationship with his partner. A good gay relationship in this episode, very emotional. So I give you some more backstory about what's going on with that character. You don't really know that much about him in the game. So anyway, Bella Ramsey really knocked it out of the park for Ellie for me. I knew she was going to show some promise in the start, and she really did deliver on that promise all the way into episode 9 to when it ended. I'm not sure whether it was a perfect performance, maybe there were a few flaws, but I couldn't really find that many. I thought she did an absolutely smashing job as Ellie all the way through. The episodes, I think there were a few episodes that were better than others. I did really like I think it was episode 6. No, I think it was episode 8 actually. It was during the winter time, and Ellie gets captured by this cult leader who's also a cannibal. He is resorted to desperate measures to keep his group alive by resorting to cannibalism. It is very disturbing, very gross. You really see how evil this guy has become, and you see, of course, Ellie being disgusted by his actions and turning against him, which then climaxes in that very memorable sequence from the game where you're in this maze area, which is in this restaurant, trying to follow this person before he follows you. I remember that sequence being very intense, and it took me a very long time to get through it. And of course it ends with Ellie stabbing him 15 times in a row, just letting out all of her rage and frustration on him. And it's pretty obvious that she had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, you think she's never going to stop. It's quite crazy actually. But anyway, also there was the episode, the Left Behind episode, which was actually the DLC for the first game, wasn't actually part of the main story, showing you kind of a bit of Ellie's backstory with her friend. Forget her name, but she was black, and she became a firefly, and unfortunately was infected, where Ellie had to kill her, which was her first kill. What else was in did I really like in this? I did really like the final episode where you see Ellie interacting with the giraffes, and You see like Ellie really starting to like Joel, and Joel starting to get attached to Ellie, and of course brings us to the series finale in the hospital. So I actually thought that the way that they presented the scene was pretty much perfect, pretty much flawless. It was pretty much just as emotionally investing and emotionally heart-wrenching and really thrilling, and really full of like very many emotions and mixed into one with like adrenaline, and seeing just kind of like this is like Joel's last stand. He feels like it's almost like his entire life has led up to this moment of him not letting the Fireflies kill Ellie to find a cure, and this kind of feels like his, I guess in his eyes, like his redemptive arc of him feeling to put things right, that no kid deserves to be killed against their will, even if it means saving all of humanity. Of course, that's up for Ellie to decide. And it's overall just a very emotional and satisfying conclusion. I do like how he still shoots one surgeon in the surgery room, because when I first played the game, I shot all three of them. Yeah, I'm one of those people. But I do like that he did try and spare at least two of them. So there's that. But overall, it a very satisfying conclusion, which is very faithful to the way the games end. It ends with Ellie making sure that Joel is telling the truth about what happened in the hospital, and he obviously isn't. He's lying to Ellie to protect her. But overall, I really had no problems with this show. It really did its absolute best to work with the team of the game, work with Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog, to make sure that this TV adaptation was authentic to the game as possible, and I think they absolutely nailed that aspect of it. It is a great adaptation. I do hear that they are going to adapt part 2 as well into season 2. I'm not too sure about this because Bella Ramsey really isn't old enough to play the older Ellie in part 2, who I think is 18 in that game. It would just seem kind of unfitting for them to start rolling now as her. Like, this probably wait a couple of years until they think about shooting season 2. And if they're shooting season 2, I have speculated about this in my Last of Us Part 2 game review that came out a year ago, that I do think they are going to make a Part 3 to the series, to the game series, which will probably also end up being season 3 of this show if they decide to keep it going. I do have a few things to say if they make a Part 3. I want Part 3 to be choice-driven, like a choice-driven game, like something out of like Mass Effect, Witcher 3, Undertale, where you get to like choose how the game ends based on like revenge over mercy, or being kind-hearted over being ruthlessly evil, which is kind of what Ellie became at the end of Part 2. It would be interesting if Naughty Dog actually did make their very first choice-driven game, because they haven't actually done that yet. They're very focused on like linear storytelling, almost kind of along the same levels of Valve and the Half-Life series. They do feel kind of, the game design does feel kind of similar in that respect. They have mastered linear storytelling, making a rich world that isn't open world but still feels believable. But I do feel like Naughty Dog, if they are to make a Part 3, that's the way that they should go. As I said, it's not really my decision of how companies make their games, but that's what I would like to see as a conclusion to this trilogy. Even if they continue to make more, I really don't think they're going to make more than 3. It's not, in Uncharted only had 5 games actually, but I do feel that probably Naughty Dog will probably become a bit tired of The Last of Us after the 3rd game. We'll probably want to move on to other things, but overall I really enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed what it had to offer, what it had to tell. The performances were great. The protagonists, Joel and Ellie, were great. The villains were also great. Overall, they nailed the atmosphere of this world really well. The very desolate nature of it, though there are moments of hope throughout, which is what makes the first game so great. I'm excited to see how they are going to tackle Part 2, if they get around to doing that. But overall, that's my opinion of the show. I highly recommend it. As always, I hope you have enjoyed what I had to say about it. Thanks for supporting the channel, And as always, take care. Thank you.